Mic check 1 2 1 2. Y'all make sure that y'all can hear me okay. I think y'all can hear me okay. Seems like everything is fun. But we back, baby. Oh, hold on. We got music and shit playing. I did not play this, even though it's pretty relaxing. I have no idea where it's coming from. Oh, this is an ad from President Trump. Nah, bro, I'm good on that, homie. I'm good on that, homie. But crazy, what's going on? What's going on? Taj Harper Benjamin, what's going on? What's going on? How are you all doing? Ooh. Feels good to be back in the chair. Feels good to be back in the throne. I ain't gonna lie. It does. It does. I missed you guys so much. But I had to take some Oh, Jimmy went off on TYT. Oh, bro, I missed everything this week. Good God. Heard that the Democrats defended pedophiles and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So I'm not we're gonna talk about all of that for sure. I'm sorry about Vouch. Don't apologize for Vouch. You know who needs to be sorry about Vouch? His mom, because she did a very, very poor job raising that young man. I feel bad for her. But honestly, I guess we should probably feel worse for his mom, because she probably didn't raise him to be like that. Which I know Vouch ain't really all there. So like, I'm not really like tripping off of it. But the whole reason I did the video was to expose him. And ever since then, it seems like all that Vouch noise has quieted down, huh? Tell y'all, there's a method to the madness. There's a method to the madness sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes it's just chaos. Chaos is okay sometimes, but every now and then, I'll be putting my little thinker to the test to see if I can game theory some of these motherfuckers out of existence. So, it seems to be going pretty well. What else we got? I'm good. Just having a marijuana Monday. No marijuana Monday for me thus far, unfortunately. It's about that re-up time. Medicinal. Medicinal. Shout out to all the medicinal marijuana users out there and all of the lucky bad. Actually, you know what? It depends on what state you live in, because there is no amount of legalized marijuana that could be sold in the state of California that would make me live there at all. Y'all motherfuckers are just, y'all, excuse me if your kids are listening, my bad. It's been a while. Y'all know I was training myself to kind of like not cuss as much, not because I usually care about the adults who care, but I do care about their kids who watch my show, because I want them to gain something from the show. So I've been trying not to cuss, but it's been a week. And so my filter is back to like default Army basic training filter, where every other word is an F word. So my apologies for that if your kids are watching. I'm trying, I promise you. But with that being said, yeah, man, there's nothing that can make me live in California. They are tripping. They out here legalizing pedophilia. The damn forest is on fire all the time. Fiorella always tries to make fun of me talking about something. Why would you live in Florida? Y'all gonna have a flood. And I'm like, girl, I can take swim lessons. And first of all, I'm not even the stereotype, right? Okay. Everybody should know this. I'm not even close to the stereotype. I can swim. Not only can I swim, I can swim really damn good. My dad taught me at a very young age. I'll be you know what I can't swim through though, Fiorella? Fire. And neither can you. You can't swim through fire and you can't swim through pedophilia. There. Boom. Shout out to Miami. If we have if Jimmy Buckets, by the way, if Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, if they win the championship, before we get started, letting y'all know, I don't give a damn if you judge me. I'm going to be out at this motherfucking Miami Heat parade, and I'll be out there partying with Jimmy Buckets. I'm going to have my mask on, but it will not be 6 feet. It will not be social distance. I'm going to be turning up, and I'll probably take my mask off to take shots of tequila. If you out there, you can come take shots of tequila with me. I will buy the shots for you. You can take a shot with Niko. I'm right there with you, but I don't care if you judge me. I don't care, bro. I'm about to go party with Jimmy Buckets. If you just mad, if you don't go out because you mad, you ain't partying with Jimmy Buckets. I know Jimmy Buckets ain't got the Rona because Jimmy Buckets is in the bubble. He might have had it Rona by the end of the parade, but that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna get to him early, so I'm gonna worry about that. And I'm gonna take my vitamin C. If I take my vitamin C, I can't get Rona. That's a fact. It's true. So yeah. We get about 5 more minutes to let everybody know we are here. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this video. We're going to have a good time today, man. We got to catch up. I need y'all to help me catch up. Seriously, I need y'all to help me catch up because Lord knows. A bunch of crazy stuff been going on. I heard. Man, they got the wrong. They got the wrong thumbnail on here. No wonder people are so confused. They always do this to me, y'all. They always do this to me. Jimmy Buckets. Y'all don't even know, man. I've been a Jimmy Butler fan forever. I've been talking because see me and Jimmy, man, we know each other, man. We like this. We like the same person, even down to the hair. Except for I can grow a beard. His thing a little patchy right now, but that's neither here nor there. Ain't nobody judging him for that. But what I'm saying is that whenever Jimmy would go from one team to the other because his teammates would not like him, I would always say, well, that's his teammates' fault. And people would be like, how do you figure? And I would say, it's because Jimmy Butler is real and he's going to hold you accountable based off of all that stuff you said you want, right? You said you want to be held accountable. You want to win championships. You want to do whatever it takes to win. And then when it comes down to being held accountable and doing whatever it takes to win, where they at? Jimmy's like, we had practice. I'm trying to practice. Let's go. I'm going to go hard on you. We about to the playoffs. And they're like, oh my God, Jimmy, you're so mean. You're such an asshole. And I'm like, okay, that's really weird because every time Jimmy Butler goes to a team, they're a playoff contender. And the moment that he leaves, they're trash. Think about it. He was on the Bulls. Bulls were a playoff team from the Rose era through the Jimmy Butler era. Jimmy Butler leaves. Tom Thibodeau can't make the playoffs and he gets fired. And then he goes, of course, to the Timberwolves. Jimmy Butler's on the team with 2 bona fide stars and a couple of great role players in the Minnesota Timberwolves. They make the playoffs again, but then they're upset because Jimmy Butler is Jimmy. Hey, I'm gonna hold you accountable. You're not working hard enough. Guess what? Jimmy leaves, and they have this guy who was the number 1 pick in Karl-Anthony Towns, and then Andrew Wiggins, who was also a number 1 pick that was traded there for LeBron James back to the Cavs, or traded for Kevin Love so that he could play with LeBron James back in the Cavs. And guess what? That got so bad they had to give away Andrew Wiggins. And Jimmy Butler leaves, and then what? They plummet. So now you go to a team that has the exact same work ethic as Jimmy Butler, talking about Coach Pat Riley and underrated Eric Spoelstra, and now they're about to go to the championship. Boy, you better stop playing with Jimmy Buckets. It's just all about the situation. But I feel Jimmy. We about championships here. We're about actually winning. We don't want that lip service. So, man, we got everybody in here. Did I even get the chance to share this shit? Somebody mentioned Jimmy Butler. You know me, I get off track, y'all. I missed y'all, man. Oh, I appreciate that, Audi. Look, now, I will admit, though, my eyebrows is a little off point. I went on vacation this week, so I didn't get to go get my eyebrows done like I do. I don't need y'all judging me. I'm from Miami, so we get our eyebrows done out here. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep the hair out of your face however you can, and that's including your eyebrows. Well, I'm surprised Glory ain't in here. Glory must be in class. I'm about to tag her on Twitter. Let me do some shout outs really quick before we get started. Who did I miss? I think y'all, I don't have my glasses on, so forgive me if I just butcher your name. Blackroom yoga teacher. Damn's going crazy. They're going brazy, man. They're going brazy. Anthony Valenti, teach overpopulation, clean environment, economy, George Carlin rigged system. I don't know what that means. We don't have an overpopulation problem, though. We have a population density problem. We don't even have a resource scarcity problem. That's a whole different discussion. Basically, so if we assume or not, we don't even have to assume. We know now that 95% of the history books are lying to us. We know that for a fact. And if we're going to and we understand that that's kind of like a natural, like the natural order of the American education system. They're supposed to lie to us. It is just purely propaganda. The only thing they get right are dates and names, and even the names they get wrong, and the dates too. Like if we're gonna think, like if we're gonna put that in the same context as economics and that in economic theory in the United States and how it's taught, then of course we have to assume that that is also, at least the very foundation or its premise is based on a lie, right? I think that's a pretty safe assumption given how our economy works. We have no idea, like just oil, for the oil robber barons out there, they have pitched this idea that oil is even limited. Like there's a set amount of oil on the planet, and we'll tap into it eventually, and it'll be gone eventually. And that is why they're able to price things the way they are. We actually don't know that. We just don't know. We have no idea. We just don't. We don't know if there's more. We don't know if there's constantly oil being reproduced regularly in the planet. We don't know. Yet they're selling it as if it is scarce. We don't know how much gold there is in the world. We just don't know these things. And what we do know, however, is that we can fit everybody in the world in Texas right now with their own 1,200 square foot apartment. Everybody in the world in the state of Texas. So we don't have a overpopulation problem. We do have a population density problem. And that is because there are certain areas or certain businesses and elite groups of people who concentrate resources into one particular area for various reasons, but namely because they don't want competition in too many parts of the world. Like, it's just how it is. We destroy industries, and people have to leave one area like Michigan, or if you were in the Rust Belt, just generally, you got to leave that area and then go to an area that you feel has more economic stability, and then you end up overpopulating that area. We're experiencing that. It took a while. I was waiting for it to happen, but now we're experiencing that in Miami too. People are leaving New York. People are leaving California because New York and California are trash, and even their areas are not economically stable anymore. So Xavier Foster, thanks for the super chat. Lancaster riots is proof BLM Antifa Ag Blue DNC is a lie. This won't bode well for Democrats and pro BLM never Trumpers. Writing is on the wall. I don't know if Black Lives Matter it can't be a lie. I mean, if you're talking about like the 501c4 like nonprofit company, then yeah, I would agree with that that's a lie. But like the term Black Lives Matter is not a lie. Like it just isn't. Like it's not a debate whether or not Black Lives Matter. Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask a racist, there might be a debate about it. But we always have to be careful not to conflate the idea of Black Lives Matter and the nonprofit that co-opted the idea of Black Lives Matter. Understand that every single great movement in this country has been co-opted. Every single one of them. Does not illegitimize the movement itself, but it does mean you have to be mindful when you're navigating that terrain. You can't just lump everything into and generally into a box. It's intellectually lazy, and it's dangerous, because then what happens is those narratives get used against you. So I appreciate the super chat. Hey, Glory, you are in here. About time. Shit, I called you like 8 hours ago. Damn, I bring my bell and everything. Glory, come on. I ring my bell 5 times. I said, ding, ding, ding. Oh, it feels so good to be back. Yes. So what Duffet, I hope I pronounced your name right. What you said about the donations, if you donate to the national level of BLM, those donations are going to go to the DNC. He's absolutely right. Now, if you are in league with one of your local organizations, you can contact them directly and make sure that is going to go to organizing efforts within your community. Once again, that's why it's important to not conflate, because you never know. But generally speaking, if it's a local organization, they operate differently because they have a different set of goals than the national level organization. National level organizations generally are they're just fundraising apparatuses. So. All right. All right, Glory, do me a favor real quick before we get started. If you can, go ahead and share the link to my other channel into the chat. Make sure you share our Rockfin link as well. I know I'm hitting you with some last minute shit, but Xavier Foster, you said it's not about helping anyone, it's about destruction. Well, I want to be clear about something. You act like those two things are mutually exclusive. Am I an advocate for violence? No, but let me put a caveat there and say I'm an advocate for I'm not an advocate for violence if it is at all preventable. However, we tried kneeling. Remember that? Remember how people tried kneeling? Remember? We were like, oh, peaceful kneel. And matter of fact, we even tried just sitting on our ass, right? Colin Kaepernick said, I don't even want to, I'm just going to sit down. I don't want, he was sitting here like this on the bench, just chilling, minding his own damn business. Someone's like, oh my God, why are you sitting? And then they're like, now it's a big deal, right? So then I think it was Nick Bosa. He's currently, or at least he was a couple of years ago, in the military while simultaneously being in the NFL. Yes, that's a thing. You can still do that. Tulsi ran for office while being in the military, so we know it's possible. So, and trust me, running for president is much harder than playing in the NFL while you're in the military. And they asked Kaepernick to kneel. So out of respect for the veteran and football player that asked him to kneel instead of sit, he kneeled. Try that, remember? Because at first it was about sitting and not being respectful. Then it was about, well, how could you kneel at all? What about the troops? The troops told me to kneel. It was the troops that requested this, remember? And your national anthem is racist, so there's that as well. So y'all didn't like that, right? There was at first it was protest, it was don't protest at all, and now it's back to, well, why don't y'all protest peacefully? Because we tried that. Even in the most recent, it was Sunday. What game was that? Who played on Sunday? Or Thursday, my apologies. I wish I could remember who was playing that day. But damn, who was it that played that day? It was a big game too. Oh, it was Pat Mahomes. It was the Chiefs and the Texans. And the Chiefs and the Texans just locked arms in unity for equality. No anthem was playing. No flag was waving. They said lock arms in a moment of silence for unity. Bruh, the virtual fans booed. I want y'all to remember that. Whenever someone asks you, whenever somebody tries to make it about kneeling during the national anthem, disrespecting the flag, all lives matter, blue lives matter, rioting and looting, BLM, once again, I'm on the, y'all already know how I feel about BLM, the national organization, and Antifa, the national organization. Hell, I feel the same way about them as I know I got my fur babies. But the what's that damn organization? Oh man. It's an organization for animals, but they're not really good. They only give like 0.03% of all their donations to actual animal. Something about cruelty, something about animal cruelty. Anyway, but all those national level organizations, I don't care what the Humane Society. There you go. Humane Society. Don't like them, but I work with some of their local organizations whenever I can. I rescue dogs and take them over. And like, does that mean I don't trust the local? No, I'm talking to them one-on-one. I know where that money is, but I can go check up on the animals that I donate. Like, it's different. But they're not saying it because they understand the nuances of a 501c4 organization and what Black Lives Matter actually was meant to be. These are the same ones who would be attacking Martin Luther King for sitting in a restaurant. They would be cheering as the dogs bit him and his supporters, and the fire department sprayed him down. That's who they would be cheering for. This is no different. Understand one thing, ladies and gentlemen, movements like this only get co-opted when they actually have a chance of being successful or are already successful. And so that's why you have people jerking at an excuse to shout them down. So if anyone ever decide, oh man, they don't want Kaepernick to play because it's about kneeling. It was about the national anthem. It was about the flag. It was about military, disrespecting the troops. It was about blah. Yeah, so they booed during that. They booed during all that, and then they booed at locking arms for a moment of silence for equality. The NFL didn't make many strides, if any at all, to like the organization itself. I mean, they didn't make any strides at all to show that they are actually, fighting for equity for the Black community. But the moment that they locked arms for a moment of silence for equality, all the players of all colors, they booed. Because it was always about, no, we don't see Black people as equal. Stop asking us to. Stop asking us to. That's what we're mad about. Okay, there, you have it. Fine. We'll say it. That's what they did. And I want you to remind people of that. So, okay. Guess what, guys? It's time to get started. I know it took a while. I was letting everybody come in. I know it's been a while. I know it's been a while, man. So I want to make sure everybody got here so they didn't miss anything. So, where's my? There we go. Oh, man, it just feels so good to be back, y'all. Feels so good to be back, man. The realest on the rise. Fuck them other guys. I even gave them a chance to discuss. Now it's something they know. They know. Yeah. Let's get started. What is up, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream. AMA Mimosa Monday. I don't got my damn mimosa. Oh my God. I might have to make something while I'm on camera. I know it's been a while. Oh man, Mimosa Monday, ain't got my damn mimosa. Yeah, so we here, baby. We are back. I had to take a week off, y'all. I was stressed. I was going through some things, man. I was getting depressed, which is interesting because I actually never had been depressed before. And I think it's actually been kind of like this reoccurring theme that's been going on over like the last month and a half, for various reasons. But it's honestly mostly just the fact that I'm looking at what's going on in politics. I'm like, my team and everybody that I know is busting their ass to try and fix this system. And I see people attacking the ones trying to help them, uplifting the ones who are throwing them under the bus, while the elites get to just laugh at us. No matter what we've been screaming out about election fraud and election integrity, DNC fraud lawsuit right here. DNC fraud lawsuit. This is what I got threatened over this lawsuit. Jared and Liz had their lives threatened, their kids' lives threatened over this lawsuit. We were told that there's no such thing as election fraud. There's no such problems with election integrity. And I'm seeing Stacey Abrams is getting a documentary on Hulu. All of a sudden, everybody cares about election integrity, right? We've been screaming. Pasta and Johnny and Fiorella just did such a fantastic job on the Epstein case. We've been talking about human trafficking. We've been saying that there is a serious problem. And the fact that it isn't being addressed leads me to believe, like almost every other problem in the United States, if it isn't getting addressed, it's because the politicians are directly involved in it. And of course, it's coming out to be true. But now, no one wants to. They got Bill Clinton speaking at the DNC convention, despite the fact that court documents had just implicated Ghislaine Maxwell. We're getting shot in the back and the front. Police officers, God knows, if you ever listen to any of those radio scanners, It's enough to infuriate you. And despite all that, Joe Biden still nominates Kamala. And I deal with Biden himself giving more money, wanting to give more money to the police. And Trump, of course, is getting emboldened because he thinks that Biden is making those statements because Trump, because the people want to. And so Trump then begins to double down on those statements and those actions. And so we just have fascism across the board. Those are our two options, neo-fascism and civility fascism. That's where we're at right now. And as a person who genuinely cares about what actually happens, not just this coming up election, but everything that takes place after, the long-term consequences that my friends, my family, people that I will never meet in my life, every one of us are going to have to deal with. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. It weighed heavy on me, and I had to take a break, take a step back to gain some perspective and just kind of reset and get my motivation back, because it was looking, I was feeling a little bit bleak for the first time in a very, very long time. I felt like I was feeling a little powerless and I was feeling a little hopeless. Because when you're screaming from the top of your lungs, like I said, I have no shame whatsoever in admitting that the MCSC network has one really, really bad habit. And it's a really bad habit of being right months, if not years in advance before anyone else is. And we are right 95% of the time. We will tell you exactly what is going to happen, whether it be from the Democrats, whether it be from the Republicans, whether it be from some of these neo-progressives that some of these people listen to, whether it be from, these celebrities. We are right. We have a really, really bad habit of being right before everyone else is. And when you're right all the time and you have the facts to back it up and you have the consistency and the pattern of being right, and instead people attack you for being right, then it gets kind of frustrating when you actually care about these outcomes. Because the only reason we're trying to be, only reason we try to predict in the fashion that we do is because we are trying to help people before they need the help. Everybody else just reflects in a vacuum what they see on TV, what they see on Twitter, what they want you to believe is going to happen. We're trying to tell you it like it is. And so that's I just need some time off, and I appreciate everybody being patient. I got to give a big shout out to the team. The MCSC network really, really held it down while I was gone. Pasta, Fiorella, Johnny, Case Study QB, and the whole Political Junkies crew. Robbie Yeager still holding it down the campaign finance side. Terry Bain still holding it down covering Assange hearings. I got the best team, man. I'm very, very thankful. So today we're going to talk about, it's the AMA. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the Democrats. And what we're going to do is we're going to have y'all tell me what I should be paying attention to for this week. I'm going to take some super chats. We're going to talk it up. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to have some good laughs. And we're going to get back to business. Wallace West, thank you very much for the super chat. One Piece, the anime, I know One Piece, scarily and accurately depicts our society and history. The pirates are activists, fishermen are black people, celestial dragons are the elite. Yeah, actually, does a very good job of depicting. That's true. I guess I never thought about it because I haven't watched it in a while since I was a little bit younger, like maybe 23 is the last time I watched the whole series. So I guess we gotta go back and rewatch it now. You know what else does a good job of depicting our society? Like actually scary accurate. I mean, really scary accurate. It's Avatar, The Last Airbender. Not the movie. Please, for the love of God, do not watch the movie. But they have the Fire Nation. The Fire Nation is supposed to be like imperialist Japan. They even have have a similar fighting style. Then you have the Rock Nation or the Earth Nation, which is China in the era of imperialist Japan. So they're the largest country in the whole. Basically, it's almost completely about them trying to like the Fire Nation trying to take down the Earth Nation, which, if you know about history, Japan spent a considerable amount of time trying to take down China because of just how big and vast and prepared China was for an empire like Japan. Then you have the air nomads, who are peace-loving monks who get obliterated because they're peace-loving monks. And then what the Fire Nation does is they change the story. They say that the Air Nation went to war with the Fire Nation, and the Fire Nation eliminated them because of that. But what happened was the Air Nomads were not fighters. They didn't learn to fight, and therefore they were wiped out because they didn't have any standing army because it was against their. And then you have the Water Nation, and the Water Nations are essentially the Native Americans, which is interesting. So love it, love it. I watch stuff like that all the time. I'm very deliberate when it comes to things I watch. Yeah, I like watching things with interesting societal undertones, like Avatar. One Piece too, apparently. What, Robbie in here? Where Robbie at? I miss Robbie. Hot damn Bojangles. What's up, Robbie, if I missed you? Mr. October said, Niko, it's hard to take you serious over that loud, flamboyant shirt and that dirty Q-tip. Hey, man, I feel you. I feel you. Listen, I get this a lot from my wife. She says the same thing. And so I understand. I'm a pretty motherfucker, bro. I got a lot of pretty clothes. My hair is pretty. My earrings pretty. My nose ring is pretty. My mama's pretty. I speak pretty. My shoes, if I could show you my shoes are usually pretty too. But listen, you just got to focus on the words. Not my mouth, because my mouth is pretty also, but you got to focus on the words. You got to focus on the words coming out of them. I promise you, there's more depth to the superficiality that you were seeing on the outside. But I'm a pretty motherfucker. I can't turn that off. What you want me to do? Come on, dog. Don't do that. Don't be like that. Just focus. Oh, man. Yeah, free is signed. Shout out to that. Taj Harper, appreciate it, man. I love this shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts now. It feels good too. Y'all understand, man? The quality of the shirt and the material that the shirt is made out of. When you live in Miami, oh, that's it. That's got to be like that's one of the main things you're looking for. I got to make sure I don't die when I go outside by suffocation. All right. So listen, what I'm about to do is real quick. We about to look this California shit. Who's asking me for an interview right now? Sorry, somebody's asking me for an interview. I'm trying to figure out who this is. Anyway, so my sister texted me a couple days ago, y'all. She said California legalized pedophilia. And I'm about to try to verify this. I've seen this in multiple places now. So we're gonna look this up. I have my own theories about this. Brent, it's funny that you said Niko Pretty House, baby. Not that I don't like that name. I like that kind of Niko Pretty House. But in all seriousness, we got, everybody got a group chat. Everybody I know, if you have an iPhone, which you should only have iPhones because droids or for the feds, just letting y'all know, whenever the FBI tried to go after iMessages from Apple was like, skirt, you ain't getting our iMessage, because iMessages are encrypted. In case you didn't know, the only people that have access to them are us and then Apple. But whenever they went to Samsung and LG, they were like, can we have your messages? They were like, yeah, of course, have all of them. So, but in my group chat, they always call me, everybody has nicknames, right? So my brother's nickname is Tropicana Q, because his name is Quentin, and also he's Juice God. So we always call him Tropicana Q because, Tropicana juice and Q. And then my other brother's nickname is Sugar Free Poppy because he's diabetic. And then mine, what do they always call? They always call me Juice Lord Freckle God or Biko Bands. Don't even ask me where that came from. Our whole group chat is actually called Juice Anonymous. It's actually pretty hilarious. If you don't know what the juice is, go watch the movie, and I can't even explain it to you. But If you're familiar with the sauce, then you know what the juice is. If you're not familiar with any of those, then go watch the movie. I can't even break that down. But it's just funny because it just, whenever you said that, it reminded me of my group chat, because that's literally how we address each other on a regular basis. Like, and it'll be a dead ass serious conversation, and it'll be like, "Hey, Tropicana Q, we need you." Like, okay, yeah, I thought we were going to go by serious names if this is a serious matter, but no, apparently not. Everybody's juice guys, so. Wow. Okay. So, whoo. Okay. This is the article. San Francisco Chronicle. California bill eliminating sex offender list. Inequity towards LGBTQ people passes. Wow. So this is real. This is real. Damn. California would eliminate a disparity in its statutory rape laws that critics say is discriminatory vestige of historic criminalization of gay sex under bill sent Monday to Governor Gavin Newsom. SB 145 by State Senator Scott Weiner and Democrats. He's a Democrat from San Francisco, would remove automatic sex offender registration for young adults who are convicted of having anal or oral sex with a minor, leaving the decision up to the judge. So I should say Newsom can overturn this. He can if he wanted to. But now, because of the way the laws work, only the judge has a final decision until Newsom does something about it. So at this moment, it's still to the judge. It says, under current law, a judge can decide whether to place a man who has vaginal intercourse with an underage teenage girl on sex offender registry based on the facts of the case. But if anal or oral sex or vaginal penetration with anything other than the penis is involved, the adult must register as a sex offender. Okay. So like, now what happens? Oh, it says under the bill, supposedly, under the bill, it would treat all sex acts the same. Although minors cannot legally consent if a teenager ages 14 to 17 voluntarily. Okay. But it's kind of bizarre. Okay. This is why it's bizarre, because so if you understand how a lot of these cases work and how the criminal justice system, so it isn't as black and white as what people said it was. It's still really bizarre. And it's still worrisome and still bothersome to me, because I understand the criminal justice system. And what this bill says is that if you don't have a judge register you as a sex offender, then you don't, even if you are guilty of said act, regardless of what the act may be, whether it's vaginal penetration, oral, anal, whatever, if you don't have a judge send you to be a sex offender, then you're not going to be in the sex offender registry. Whereas with if it was oral or anal, which, by the way, I get why they say it's like, oh, it targets all communities type situation, or excuse me, that particular piece, that particular statute targeted the LGBTQ community. That's what they said. That's just weird, in my opinion, because part of me thinks that was done because of just how sometimes, like, you got the prison system, the sexual assault that happens in prison systems, like just the nature of rape, generally speaking. Like if you were trying to avoid, there are really uncomfortable reasons why people would avoid vaginal penetration. And so they would use any of the, but the oral thing is what makes it kind of weird, right? Because it's like, what? I'm not sure how you would even be able to know if someone orally raped anybody. But my point is, I feel like all of those should probably go under the sex offender category. Right? I think that everybody probably agrees with that. Like, nah, it shouldn't have been, oh, let's make these as hard to prosecute as the other predatory offenses. That's not what it should be. It should be, let's make these as prosecutable as possible as the other statutory rape offenses. That's what it should be. But that's not what we're seeing here. So I'm just worried that this legislation will lead to far worse. And I also think that this is becoming an issue where now there are groups trying to normalize pedophilia, just because I think that the elites are kind of behind that. And I think that because it's Epstein situation, because the Ghislaine Maxwell situation is not really going the way they thought it would go. I don't know how it's going. It's just bizarre. Everything about it is bizarre. And I don't know. I just don't think that I think that they're going to try to beat us legislatively now in places like California and New York. There aren't really that many blue states that would be okay with that. But California, New York primarily, because where do you see a lot of these cases happen? California and New York. And then of course we do have the Florida situation, but I don't think that the blue world doesn't have as much power down here as they would in New York or California. So I do believe that there are attempts to kind of like almost create like reverse statutes so that if new cases happen with some of these politicians and these elites, then they can't be prosecuted the same way. And they can be protected by the judges that they, in one form or another, are connected to and can make sure are paid off and taken care of. Because that's what California's law basically does. It says you could be absolutely guilty of something, but if they seal the case completely and then decide not to send you to the sex offender registry, how could anyone know that you're a sex offender? How could anybody know? You won't lose your job. You won't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing about your life changes except for now you might have a dismissal, but nobody knows what it got dismissed for. Just saying. Big Earth, thanks for super chat. You ain't missed much, man. You know, we just talking shit, having fun. Even though I'm about to get up in. Wallace West, my top 5 anime. Glory Niko, my top 5. I think Glory might have given hers. My top 5 are Dragon Ball Z because it's Dragon Ball Z. So, you know, it's definitely my whole childhood. Literally, I swear to God, it took them my entire childhood to get through, at least on the English version, to get through, like, to get to the Boo saga. It literally took my entire childhood and then even some of my teenage years. I think I might have almost been an adult when they finally got through Boo. Then I'm kind of like I'm in between. So my next one, I guess, would be Avatar. Avatar is probably a little bit more impactful than Dragon Ball Z for me, but Dragon Ball Z is just awesome. It's just this whole bunch of awesomeness. And the longevity of it all is pretty impressive. But Avatar is definitely up there. It's probably like a tie for 1 and 2 between those two. And then my next 2 are Soul Eater and oh man, it's actually one that's a Netflix original. It's so fire. 7 Deadly Sins. Because the concept behind both of those are pretty interesting. So like in Soul Eater, like Death is actually the guy who starts an academy to keep evil people in line, whereas we all know that Death is supposed to be the super evil figure. And then same thing with 7 Deadly Sins. The 7 Deadly Sins are this group of elite fighters from around the world who are actually, like, they're created to defeat the 10 Commandments, which is another interesting concept. So, you know, so when you get conceptual animes like that, it's always very, very good because they play on those concepts throughout the entire anime. So those two, and then my fifth one would be, what would be my fifth one? Oh, Samurai Champloo. I don't know if you've ever watched Samurai Champloo, but it's basically a story of a traditional samurai who gets exiled, and a non-traditional samurai who actually fights using a combination of like a samurai style mixed with capoeira. If you know what capoeira is, it's the Brazilian dance fighting style, and they like have to travel together, beating everybody up. It's like based in hip hop. It's the same type of animation as like the Boondocks, if you ever watched the Boondocks. So yeah, mad fun. So those are mine. So Dragon Ball Z, no particular order, but Dragon Ball Z, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra. I put a group those in one because Legend of Korra is fire. And then Seven Deadly Sins, Soul Eater, Samurai Champloo. Yeah, Gloria, I know you didn't ask me if I just sent. You're not going to be discriminating against my Avatar because it was made by Americans. Yes, I consider it an anime. It is an animation with a bunch of Asian people who have big eyes like white people. Yes, it is an anime. Samurai Champloo. Yep, that's what it's called. Everybody keeps telling me I need to watch Attack on Titan, but like I have to sit there and I have to watch it because like it's all in Japanese. And I don't know if I got time for that. I used to back in the day when I was a kid, but man. But everybody, my friends keep telling me, they all like, man, you got to start Attack on Titan. I'm like, nah, bro. All right. Hey, give me 1 second. I'm about to go get my cup real quick. Y'all keep each other entertained. It'll be like literally like 35 seconds. I'm missing my mimosa. It's Mimosa Monday, and I'm missing my mimosa, so I'm gonna be right back. All right, y'all. Hold it down, Glory. Time. How good was that? Was that 35 seconds? I feel like it was less than 35 seconds. There will be no alcohol consumed during this YouTube live stream, so letting everybody know. This is orange juice. This is just orange juice. Which way are you supposed to look to show that you're not lying? I know if you look left, you're lying, right? Is it left dart or right dart? If it's left, then I'm not drinking anything but orange juice in this cup. And you know this because I'm not looking left, I'm looking right when I say it. All right. So what other crazy nonsense has happened since I've been gone, yo? Oh, what's up with this Netflix show or movie that Tulsi watched and apparently felt was so bad she had to call out Netflix for enabling pedophilia? Like, that was a bold ass statement. I mean, she comes out with bold statements. I mean, a lot during the election, she would come out with them, but generally during her hiatus, if you will, from the public spotlight, she hasn't made statements that bold. And then out of nowhere, I'm like on Instagram, and it was so bold, she had to Instagram it. Like, she was really upset about what she saw on that show. So what is going on? What is that show about? I'm gonna see if I can find it and download it, and I guess we can try to watch the clip together. Hope my downloads work fast enough. I'm kind of scared. I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. Washington Post is talking about people need to apologize for cuties. Who needs to apologize about cuties? Ted Cruz and the hysteria over a French film. I love how they try to make. Okay, so first of all, let me just go ahead and say this. So this is a lesson in recognizing propaganda the moment that it hits your fucking eye socket. So what they're doing right now is they put Ted Cruz as the face of people who are calling out the sexualization of these kids on this movie that I have not seen yet, full disclosure. But I'm already skeptical, because if you ever wanted to make someone or any movement look bad, what you do is you put Ted Cruz's Zodiac killer face as the face of the movement. And then all of a sudden, people will feel like it's delegitimized. Like, oh, those concerns aren't real, because if they were real, Ted Cruz wouldn't have said anything about it. They did not, however, if you notice, put Tulsi's face as at the forefront of this, which is interesting because, oh, okay, so I wasn't crazy. So I did see that. I saw that Tulsi was trending on Twitter for a bit. Because I still hadn't seen the movie. I was damn sure wasn't about to watch it that day. But I just that's propaganda. Like, what do you mean he should apologize? Like, let me read the argument first. I'm gonna read the argument, but it's just interesting that the first person I've seen, Democrats and Republicans and leftists and conservatives all saying the same thing about cuties, and now they're trying to make it strictly a Ted Cruz issue. I owe an apology. Oh, hold on. This person, I owe an apology to Ted Cruz. The junior senator from Texas owes a bigger apology to his constituents. Okay. Let me explain. This all started with a weekend kerfuffle over the French film Mignonnes, which Netflix called Cuties, and made available to its subscribers last week. The film is about an 11-year-old French Senegalese girl named Amy, who feels increasingly alienated by her austere Muslim family and gloms onto a neighbor and her pack of girls training for a dance competition that involves an awful lot of twerking. Okay. Beginning last month, Netflix promoted Cuties in the United States in a way that did not perfectly capture what the film was about, and for which Netflix subsequently apologized. Yeah, because that is not at all what I got from the damn title and from the description that was given. I would have never guessed it was about a Muslim girl who was trying to join a dance team. That's not what they said. All right. So as the controversy grew, Ted Cruz felt the need to get involved. He announced that he was calling for the Justice Department to investigate whether or not Netflix, its executives, or filmmakers violated any federal laws against the production and distribution of child pornography. Whoa, that's a big jump. That's a big jump. You got to defend that. Ted Cruz does, because listen, y'all, you know how I feel when it comes to stuff like that. You can't just scream it out every time. You got to make sure that you're correct, because they're gonna jump on you if you're even kind of wrong. They'll look for any hole in your argument, because it's real. Because child sex trafficking is real, it's going to be attacked vehemently by those who wish to protect it. Just like I'm gonna protect my mimosa. The idea that Netflix would traffic in child pornography by releasing a Sundance Award-winning film seemed risible, and I responded to Cruz on Twitter with a suggestion that he was not even aware he was running against a film produced and financed overseas. This is where I owe Cruz an apology. He clearly did know that, as the letter to the Attorney General spelled out. And Cruz is also correct to point out that Netflix was involved in distribution of child pornography, an investigation that would certainly be warranted. The hard lesson for me, which must be regularly relearned on social media, is not to comment something without having read or watched it. Interesting. Am I crazy? Did he just admit that that movie was basically child pornography? What did I miss? I don't even know if I want to watch that movie, because like I feel like I want to do a show on it, but I can't do the show without watching the movie. But I'm reading this Watch Tip Post article and I'm already cringe. You know what I'm saying? Nothing really shakes Tulsi up. The fact that she saw this movie and was so shook into her core that she had to literally comment about it, and make one of her most controversial comments of 2020 after basically saying, I'm going to leave the public eye to start a family. That says something to me. So let me finish reading this. He said, but here is where Cruz owes his constituents an apology. However, his letter to the Attorney General, Bill Barr, included the following. The film routinely fetishizes and sexualizes these pre-adolescent girls as they perform dances simulating sexual conduct and revealing clothing, including at least one scene with partial child nudity. These scenes in and of themselves are harmful. Okay, now I'm not gonna lie. If he's just talking about children twerking, then that I need people to understand is if this is really about a Senegalese girl and it's just twerking, like if that's the motion that he's referring to, it has to be understood that for Africans, what we consider twerking is casual dancing. Twerking is an African, like originally an African dance that we just kind of Black people actually culturally appropriated twerking. In all seriousness, but if you go to like Brazil, for example, it's the same thing. So I don't want something to be misconstrued, right? If this is a cultural dichotomy, that's a whole different situation, and we could argue the merits of that and debate the merits of that. But if it genuinely is like they're just doing some sexual movements and people should at this point know the difference, then that's something that has to be addressed separately. So that's what his letter said. And the author goes on to say, having now watched Cuties, I find it pretty obvious that Cruz has not. Let's dispense with the partial nudity. Oh, I think that's a typo. I think he meant let's dispense with the partial nudity myth. There is a blink and you'll miss it scene in which the film's protagonists are watching video of a rival older dance troupe in which one of the dancers exposes one breast. It happens too fast for anything to be sexualized. As for whether the film also shot more explicit and abusive scenes, this is Cruz speculation and nothing more. That's a weird argument to make for that. They said that they're what? So I guess I haven't seen the movie. I guess the better argument to be made would be that there is an older, like legally older group, a group that does meet the age of consent, that flashed a breast really quickly, and they were old enough to do so, and then those women could have been inspired by that or something to that effect. But I don't like Nah, bro, if they're showing like little girl boobs, then that's a problem. It doesn't matter if it was a blink once or not. I feel like that's obvious. Like it is not how child pornography works. It's like, oh man, it's only a 5-second child pornography. No. Was a young woman in the movie old enough to be doing so consensually? That's the real question. And I guess you would have to find out who the young woman was to get the answer to that. But that's a bad argument. Oh, it was only 1 second. It was a blink and you'll miss it moment. There's no such thing. It's either it is or it is not considered child pornography. In that particular instance, it would be considered child pornography, to my understanding. That's not a good argument. That's not a good argument. And then, but they do go on to say Cruz is on a slightly firmer ground with the dancing, though. No doubt the movie had a lot of twerking. And director Mimosa Discore focuses her camera a lot on the girls' posteriors, a bit too much for my taste, as they learn new provocative dance moves. That said, however, it requires a willful ignorance of the film itself to claim that those scenes sexualize the girls involved. No, can't do that. Can't make that argument. Sexualization is not about what you want it to be. It is either someone is being sexualized or they are not being sexualized. Because in my opinion, the idea of sexualization is kind of like the idea of race perception. It is something that is kind of imposed on you rather than how you would like to feel about certain things. Like if I'm walking around the house and my significant other just is walking around doing what she does, and because we live together, of course, it's not really sexualization to me. I don't that's not the moment for me. I'm worried about doing my work. She's just trying to be comfortable. That's not sexualization, right? Now, if I then took a camera and narrated this while she was walking around just doing laundry and doing whatever she does in her clothes or lack thereof, and then I'm like, I put my quote unquote, if you ever taken an art class, I don't know if you've ever heard of the male gaze, but this is a thing. But if I put my male gaze on it and then posted it somewhere, made money off of that, people are then watching that because of my attempt to sexualize something that was not initially sexual. Does that make sense? So it's like sexualization is the perception, what you as the gazer, the visualizer, the cameraman was attempting to do. If you take your camera and then focus on the butts of these little girls, that is sexualization, because why else were you focusing on their butts when, last time I checked, twerking did require a lot of different, body parts. The butt is just one of the main parts, but girl, there are women with little butts that can still twerk, so just saying, you can't just be like, nah, it wasn't sexualization just because you don't know the history of twerking. Well, I do. And that has nothing to do with how they were being, depicted, right? That's a completely different thing, in my opinion. That sexualization is how a person is being depicted rather than how they were choosing to be depicted. All right. He says that indeed, the point of the film is to demonstrate the real risks to the girls when they are trying to sexualize the situation. The few times the protagonists do this, it inevitably blows up in their faces. What is striking about the final dance number is that it is wow, I do not know what this word is. I've never seen this word before in my life. Interspersed with spectators looking on in a disapproving manner. That's like all dance movies. That's actually not. Okay, so that's what's weird, right? So he said that it's not sexualization, and you can only see the sexualization if you don't know the history of twerking or the movie, but then he doesn't actually give the history to like dispel the idea that those kids were sexualized. That's bizarre to me. That's problematic. It's not a good argument. So I'm gonna sip some mimosa for this guy because he needs some. He needs sweet baby Jesus, Buddha, and Allah. I'm gonna have to watch this movie now, unfortunately. Man, I know I don't like speaking on things, like at least definitively on things that I haven't seen yet, and this is where those. Because like I said, if Tulsi said this, I'm like, bruh, it's got to be bad. Because Tulsi is not the type that judges anybody or anything, and she understands the difference between art and something taken a little bit too far. She's like a live and let live type of person, and so for her to say that, ooh, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Wow. Other than that, man, that's it. I guess I'm gonna have to watch it, at least part of it. I doubt I'll be able to sit through all of it. That's weird. So far, it's looking as if Tulsi and Ted Cruz. I don't know whether or not he actually watched the movie, but so far, even just based off of the description that the guy gave, the guy who's supposed to be dispelling this myth that he is saying Ted Cruz and others have engaged in. Like the guy made points that disprove his own theory. So it's not looking good. Netflix got to get this together. Did I get this together? Did I miss any super chats? Darren and Levy, what's going on, my man? Hi, Niko. Hope you had a nice, good break. I did. I had a fantastic little staycation in my house. You know that the new Marvel's Avengers game just came out, and NBA 2K21 came out. Probably the best NBA 2K that they've had in a long, long time. Just saying. My favorite one since probably 2013 or 2014. Basically. So I just relaxed, hung out with my best friend. My sister came down from California. My cousin just moved down, so that was fun. I just played with my pup and my fur babies, and we did not stress. Well, we stressed, but we did not stress about things we could not control. Everybody and mama trying to call me right now. All right, I need a super chat. What else has happened over the last week? What did I miss? Hold on, let me take another sip of this. I'm gonna take one more sip of this. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find the clip. The Stacey Abrams bullshit movie. It's Amazon Prime documentary. And it's funny because I thought to myself when I saw that, I thought to myself, I said, of course Amazon Prime's gonna host it. Why wouldn't they? Jeff Bezos is basically owned by the government, and he owns Washington Post specifically so that he can put out propaganda. So what we gonna do? I see we got super chat. Means I gotta download this. My downloads, my internet's still not up to par yet. Hopefully will be soon, but it's gonna take a second to download. So and then we'll drag and drop it and see what what we can get. Ugh. I'm pretty sure a lot of people haven't seen this yet. Siri, what you doing? Siri always bugging me, y'all. You know, Siri love me. So hold up. Oh, it already finished. Well, that was quick. Wasn't expecting it to be that fast, guys. My bad. There we go. Big DPA is on the arcade. Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. Gotta forgive me. Booyah. 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 I think I got it. All right, let me check out these super chats real quick and we'll get it popping. Darren 11, do you know if the People's Party would have candidates for office and would they endorse Tulsi for Hawaii governor if she runs for the gubernatorial? I have the short answer for that is probably and probably. I do know that they are very, very high on Tulsi. They love Tulsi, actually. They love Tulsi as much as they love Nina. They requested openly for her to be one of the headliners at the People's Convention. So, Allison, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for super chat. All right, so let me go ahead. All right, y'all. Now we prepare for this bullshit.
If the power of the right to vote was truly made available to everyone in America, it would change the future of this nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stacey Abrams!
When I started running for governor, we anticipated that voter suppression was going to be instrumental in my campaign, and we were right.
We've been in line for 5 hours.
They said you've already voted. Looks like several days ago. No, I would have remembered that.
Thousands of people were told no and didn't have the authority to demand better.
These lines are insane. We had precinct consolidation, non-training of local election officials.
I knew something had gone horribly wrong. The system that is supposed to protect our democracy didn't work the way it was supposed to.
States implement voter suppression laws all across the country.
Things like new voter ID laws, purging. You're knocked off the roll. Gerrymandering. Changing the voting boundaries.
Ohio is a use it or lose it state.
In the United States, the right to vote is the only right you can lose simply for not using it.
Jim Crow 2.0. That's what we're saying. We've got a lot of work to do.
When we started as a country,
6% of people were eligible to vote. There's still forces that are determined to keep citizens from voting.
Unless we fight for the right to vote, our democracy is put at risk. The fight over voting rights is ultimately about power.
The states have figured out how to stop African Americans, Hispanics, Asian Americans, the young, and the poor from voting.
History is never a straight line. It's always a fight.
I will not concede because the erosion of our democracy is not right.
Try to make history. The vote matters.
You belong. You have value.
Y'all, somebody want to tell me what the hell that was? Somebody want to tell me what the somebody want to tell me what the hell was that? For Stacey Abrams to have the living audacity to even think about uttering the words election fraud, voter suppression, election integrity, after she just witnessed the Democrats engage in every single tactic they refer to, not in the whole document, I haven't seen the documentary yet, but Lord baby Jesus, just in the damn commercial for the documentary, we know for a fact the Democrats engage in every single one of those tactics in order to keep outsider candidates from getting any of the votes from the young, the poor, the working class, the Latino groups, the Black groups, the groups that are generally people of color, new registered voters that have just switched into the Democratic Party because they may have been voting in a closed primary. Bruh. Y'all remember Super Tuesday? Y'all remember Super Tuesday? Super Tuesday. If y'all recall, I was in California with the fam. I was with the Convo Couch crew. And just like myself, Convo Couch is very, very, very dedicated to covering election fraud and fighting for election integrity. And do you know what the Convo Couch crew tried to warn? Not the day of, not a week before, not 3 weeks prior, but almost a year and a half in advance. The Convo Couch put out a warning saying that there is an attempt to suppress the vote. There is an attempt to call, they're going to sell it as ineptitude, right? But that's not the case. What they did was create an entirely new voting system that is far less secure than the previous voting system. And behind the chaos, they will be trying to rig the election. They warned about this. Pasta and Johnny Sue, on the ones and twos, they tried to follow the chain of command, the chain of custody for mail-in ballots. It got to a point where they were like, okay, so where are these going next? And we don't know. Well, what do you mean we don't know? The law says that we can be there when they're being counted. So where are these going next? We don't know. No idea. Who's going to count them? We don't know. So how can we go there if that we don't know? I talked to someone at dinner that just happened to be discussing their ballot. This is in LA, Pasadena. I was just happened to overhear them, and I hear the word ballot, vote, what the hell happened to my registration, and my ears perked up. I was like, excuse me, sir, I don't want to be rude, but can you explain to me what happened, what took place? And he explained to me that he did everything correctly. He'd been voting there for damn near a decade in that particular county from that particular address. And the Democrats somehow, because that's who runs the Democratic primary there, somehow that led to him being removed from the ballot or removed from the registration. Then he had to re-register. Then they only let him on the machine, which, by the way, it was supposed to be a paper ballot, so that's already a problem. On the machine, they only let him vote for the presidential race in the Democratic primary, and that was it. And they didn't even give him all the options. We know that Donna Brazile admitted that 2016 was rigged. She's establishment, she admitted it. Tom Perez, before he had to renege, admitted it as well. We know that from 2016 to 2020, the Democratic Party took every state that they knew, every caucus state specifically, that they knew Bernie Sanders was going to dominate because he dominated in 2016. And then gave them all voting machines with no trace of a paper ballot backup. They uprooted entire caucus systems over 2 years to put in not paper ballots, but voting machines that we obviously know can absolutely and will absolutely be hacked. Voting machines with proprietary software, not open source software, which means if there was a hack, we wouldn't be allowed to see it. We've seen what happened to Tim Canova. I mean, which time do you want to discuss? The first time where he lost by this much of a margin, where Brenda Snipes destroyed 10,000 ballots, where Tim sued her in the county and won. In other words, it is on record that an election supervisor, a Democratic elections supervisor, destroyed 10,000 ballots in order to protect one candidate against another. That person is fired now. I don't know if y'all know that, along with 2 other Democratic supervisors of elections. Obviously, there's everything that we discovered in the DNC fraud lawsuit. Then there's remember they mentioned the lines. They mentioned the lines in the video. Remember that? Oh my God, the lines. Oh, that's interesting. Because remember in Texas, at every major school in the country that was hosting elections, they all had problems. All of them. And at UCLA, apparently they had like 6 voting machines for the entire campus. And they were just giving out one concerned poll worker said that they gave provisional ballots, which by definition are not counted on the night of the election, by definition. They gave provisional ballots to 93% of the students who showed up. He said, that's wrong. That wasn't supposed to happen. By the time it was all said and done, do y'all know that Biden basically stole California from Bernie Sanders? And Lord knows who else. Jill Stein in 2016 took both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump to the mat, even winning a case in Pennsylvania that said that the elections basically were not legitimate. I mean, yeah, the results already been counted, but yeah, we can't allow this to happen again. So we got to get rid of voting machines and do mandatory paper ballots instead. Where is that documentary at? Where's that documentary at? That's why people want me to get super, hype about this. Oh, look at the Republicans. They don't want to do mail-in ballots because I mean, they probably, like, Republicans traditionally do not want more people voting. Like they know what the numbers say. The numbers say the less people that vote, the higher chance they have to win. So I'm not denying that, but I've never denied that. Not one single time. If anyone tried to tell me that the Republicans were trying to rig an election, I've never denied that. The problem is when you explain to them the Democrats are just as guilty, if not more guilty, when it comes to their personal primaries than the Republicans are. And they cannot accept that because the Democrats are supposed to be the altruistic ones. Those are the ones who are supposed to believe in democracy. What about Stacey Abrams? You know why Stacey Abrams had no problem calling out election fraud against the Republicans in Georgia, which I believe her. I do believe the Republicans were trying to rig the outcome of that election because I've seen the propensity for both parties to rig only when it favors them and ignore it when they could call out their own team. I believe Stacey Abrams when she said that Georgia was rigged against her. I believe it. And because when it was time to call out the fact that, well, The entire Democratic primary was rigged clearly for the guy that you decided to back. And guess what? You didn't call that out, did you? Why? Because it was rigged for the guy that you decided to back. Because you thought you were going to get something out of it. How's that working out for you? And then for them to have disgustingly attached this voter suppression to Black people as if, and then obviously directly associate that with Republicans, it's abhorrent. It is. Because we know the Democrats use the exact same tactics during the primary. Guess who had the worst election conditions? Poor people and Black people and just generally people of color. There's one thing that the lady said in there that was true. She said the states have successfully learned how to suppress Black people, but that is not exclusive to just red states. That's all states. That's including California, including New York, including Pennsylvania. And the Democrats are just as guilty of gerrymandering as Republicans are. So they throw, this is what I say. When I say that the Democrats and Republicans and just the system in general, they co-opt movements that are impactful, that are meaningful, that are real. Or else they wouldn't use those movements to co-opt. You get what I'm saying? You're not going to co-opt the failure of a movement. You're going to co-opt the movements that have legitimacy, that are gaining traction, which kind of makes it feel a little bit good because clearly they were so worried, they were so fearful that election integrity would be an issue that would cause people to either vote against the Democrats, not even necessarily for Trump, but against the Democrats, or just not vote at all. They were worried that so many people had caught on to the scheme that is a Democratic primary that they had to co-opt the movement for election integrity. So that gives me some hope that they know that we're breaking through. And so, of course, they're going to try and co-opt the message and co-opt the movement and co-opt the fight. But I'll be damned. Not here, bro. Nah, not like this. It's a joke. That documentary is a joke. How dare you put up Martin Luther King's face? How dare you pretend that you care about? But you know, it's funny. I've been saying for quite some time, like there, and it's still true by and large. Everybody's talking about vote. Vote, 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 vote. You have to vote. Go vote, 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 vote. Vote them out, vote them out. All your problems can be solved by going to cast a ballot to vote. Nobody is saying, nobody. Make sure you go vote and then make sure that your vote is being counted. And if there is someone who is trying to stop you from doing so, make sure you get them held accountable. Nobody is saying make sure your vote counts. No one, I mean, there's very few of us, but no one is saying make sure your vote counts. There's a reason for that. And then, of course, the first instance of someone coming out and saying make sure your vote counts, they're saying, oh, no, make sure your vote counts, but only if you vote Democrat. No, everybody's vote should count. Everybody. And if they were more focused on simultaneously not only making sure the vote counts, but, you know, selling policies that people actually believe in and nominating the candidates that people actually would fight for, then they wouldn't have to worry about mail-in ballots or whatever. You haven't inspired anybody, and they know it. It's funny because people think that these BLM protests around the country are somehow organized by the Democrats. That's silly. That's stupid. The Democrats they're not really behind. They're playing defense right now. They're like, oh yeah, we gotta say Black Lives Matter now. We want them to pull up to my house. But they didn't orchestrate the protests. They have not. They didn't create the in fact, not fucking around coalition. They didn't create that. You think that the Democrats want Black people to have guns? Oh, you silly child. No, they don't want that. You think the Democrats want Black people to be organized? rather than mobilize? No, they don't want that either. Mobilization is when you are temporarily inspired to activate for one specific cause and then you dissipate after that cause is supposedly achieved. Organization means you will organize for whatever cause may come now or in the future. They don't want Black people organized, they want them mobilized. What we have seen is long-term protests for now months, stretching over the span of months, people. That's organization. And they like to focus on the white boys in Portland, I get it. But if you go to, and Glory can actually talk about this because she's been to a lot of them here in South Florida. Go to the ones in South Florida. Go to the ones in Minneapolis. Go to the ones in the areas where Black people are the dominant demographic, and you will see it's Black people there too, a lot of them. And usually in those areas, like in South Florida, it's dominantly Black people there. But they're not showing those protests. They're trying to make it seem like it's only a bunch of white boys running around with masks on. They don't have control over what's going on. And so they're trying to say BLM because like, oh, well, we don't have control over those protesters, but those people who would sympathize with those protesters based off of the narrative siege that we have committed, we can get them to vote for us without giving those protesters anything and then blame the Republicans for the protests happening. That's what they're doing. It's triangulation. But no. The Democrats don't like the protests. They don't. They're going to try to profit off of it. They're going to try to use the protest. They also try to use Martin Luther King's name. Okay, and they try to use Malcolm X's name. Okay, and they unfortunately, at least temporarily, have successfully co-opted Angela Davis. They try and use us all the time. But they do know this. Most of the people at these protests are not voting for Joe Biden. They are not naive people. The Black people I know, 95, especially if they're 30 years or younger, if they're about 30 years old or younger, every Black person I know is not voting for Biden or Trump. Every single one of them. Now, I will say this, the well-off millennials that I know are still kind of engaging in the same tropes about why I should vote against Trump, as I see a lot of the established older Democrats doing. That is a little bit bothersome, but I don't think that they make up anywhere close to the majority. It's because their jobs somewhat depend on the Democrats being successful, if I'm being honest. But BLM isn't turning out votes for the Democrats. Not anywhere near enough. And I think that Trump might end up getting more Black votes than any Republican in recent history, if I'm being really honest about it. Like a high, not more Black votes, I should say the highest percentage of Black votes. Because more is relative. I think that most Black people are just not going to vote for either of them. So the moral of that story is Stacey Abrams and that entire documentary crew can kiss my ass. We've been out here working, fighting for election integrity for years. And y'all call us conspiracy theorists. And we brought up these same, not only, we didn't just bring them anecdotal shit. We're showing you the numbers. We're showing you the numbers, people. No, those are conspiracy theorists though. And now watch David Pakman and TYT and all of them. All of a sudden now election integrity is real because Joe Biden can't possibly be as bad as Donald Trump or worse. The world can't believe that. Why not? Y'all been spending your time convinced. Y'all been spending your entire year convinced that somehow Joe Biden, being the conservative that he is, actually aligns more so with the people of the Democratic Party than Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard, even Andrew Yang does. That's what y'all have been selling, right? That of course he won. He is the most moderate, which means really conservative. And therefore, so why would you not think that Trump is more popular than Biden if that idea holds true? Just saying. There's no intellectual consistency there. Nizar G, what's going on, my mans? University of Texas in Dallas, most diverse university on campus. Oh, university campus in Texas ran out of ballots midday. Never re-up. Yeah, I remember seeing it on Twitter. Oh man, next comment, Glory. It's so crazy you said that. Glory said that my school lost power halfway through the day. UCLA lost power too. These places that have literally never lost power ever, all of a sudden lose power midday. Glory. Alex Villanueva, head of LASD, that's been tear gassing and illegally detaining protesters, is a Democrat and ran as a progressive too. You know, it's interesting. I feel like Pasta and Fiorella called him out very early on. That's why I find it interesting that some people were sold by him, which is interesting. Some people were sold, and Fiorella and Pasta and Johnny tried to call him out. All right, so I got to get up out of here. I get some other stuff done, but make sure if y'all have not yet, make sure you subscribe not only to this channel but subscribe to my other YouTube channel. It's just my YouTube channel, even myself. We're on a little experiment over there, and we have that's where a lot of my individual videos are gonna go. They're gonna be here. Some of them will be here too, but most importantly, subscribe to Rockfin, ROKFIN.com, rockfin.com/Niko. It's where our Thursday show is every Thursday, our Rockfin Premium show, and we will be back live this Thursday. Like I said, baby, we back to normal. We're on our normal schedule again, which normal schedule just means your timeline is going to be filled with a bunch of videos from Niko. You're welcome. I miss you guys. Like I said, I really did. I miss all of you. I even miss my haters because, hey, you can't really do this without haters. If you don't have haters, then you're not doing a good enough job, if I'm being honest with you. And so haters, I'm back. If you don't have no one to hate on, feel free to hate on me. I appreciate it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in to this live stream, Mimosa Monday, AMA. And always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.